The Rose Bowl, one of the longest lasting, most cherished traditions in all of college football. The Big Ten versus the Pac-12. Keith Jackson called it the granddaddy of them all. You have the Tournament of Roses parade. You have the Rose Bowl stadium itself. We've had some epic battles in the Rose Bowl. And there's 4 different scenarios that could determine the matchup for this year's Rose Bowl. But there's one particular scenario that everybody's definitely looking forward to the most. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blue Dude. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. This channel is home of at least one college football video every single day. Still battling my way through COVID. Still pumping out videos every single day. And today I wanted to talk about the Rose Bowl. 4 different scenarios, but one is the one where everybody's really zeroing in, that everybody truly hopes happens. It's actually a rematch. But let's go through all the scenarios that could happen for the Rose Bowl. Scenario 1, if Iowa beats Michigan and Utah beats Oregon, the matchup would be Iowa versus Utah. I mean, I guess that could be an okay matchup. Iowa, not much offense going on over there. Utah has gotten hot. I guess it could be an okay game. But Utah has really not cemented themselves as, you know, a marquee Pac-12 team. When you think of the Rose Bowl, you don't think of Utah. They haven't been in the Pac-12 long enough. Scenario number 2. Iowa beats Michigan, but Oregon beats Utah. In this scenario, we'd have Iowa versus Oregon. Yeah, that's a better matchup. At least you'd have Oregon, and Oregon is synonymous with the Rose Bowl. But Iowa's still not a big draw. And, I mean, you'd have a great defense in Iowa versus a great offense in Oregon. That could be interesting, but still not what we're looking for. Scenario 3. Let's say Michigan beats Iowa, but Utah beats Oregon. That would mean it would be Ohio State versus Utah. Okay, this is a little bit better because Ohio State in the Rose Bowl, I like it. But then there's Utah again. You don't associate Utah with the Rose Bowl. Not yet. Not yet. Then finally, scenario 4. This is the scenario that everybody is wanting. And that is, if Michigan beats Iowa and Oregon beats Utah, that means it would be Ohio State versus Oregon in the Rose Bowl. That's the Rose Bowl everybody wants, including myself. Number 1, both of those names, Ohio State, Oregon, Rose Bowl. Yes, it fits. Another thing, a rematch. September 11th, 2021. Number 12, Oregon went on the road to number 3, Ohio State, and beat them in a shocking upset, 35-28. But what happened after that? Well, Oregon went on and they lost to Stanford on the road. And Stanford's a terrible team. I think they finished the season with like 3, maybe 4 losses. Then after that, they got blasted by Utah. 38-7, I believe, was the final score. Now, for Ohio State, they were doing great. That was their only loss until the last game of the season when they went to the Big House and got actually beat down by Michigan. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. Now, I warned Ohio State fans, take Michigan serious. They're capable of upsetting you, but straight up beating you down, no, I did not see that happening. So, Oregon versus Ohio State, that's what everybody wants, especially Ohio State fans. They want that revenge, especially now you're not going to the playoffs. What's the next best thing? Oh, let's get some revenge on Oregon. Well, let's see how the matchup would look like. Well, Oregon averages 33.2 points per game. That's 33rd in the nation. That's not a bad offense. But for Ohio State, they average 45.5 points per game. That's number 1 in the nation. The best offense in the nation. Now, for Oregon, they allow 24.4 points per game. That's 51st. That's not a great defense. For Ohio State, they allow 20.9 points per game. That's 26th. So, Ohio State has the better defense. Now, the quarterback for Oregon, Anthony Brown, he was 211 for 327. That's 64.5%. Threw for 2,545 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Dual threat quarterback. 132 carries for 642 yards, 4.9 yards a carry, 9 touchdowns. The quarterback for Ohio State, C.J. Stroud, 280 for 395. That's 70.9%. Throwing for 3,862 yards, 38 touchdowns, and just 5 interceptions. I think Ohio State has the better quarterback. Now, running back situation. Oregon's leading rusher, Travis Dye, 178 carries for 1,036 yards, averaged 5.8 yards a carry, and 14 touchdowns. For Ohio State, their leading rusher, running back Travion Henderson, 167 carries for 1,172 yards, 7 yards a carry, and 15 touchdowns. Hey, if this rematch happens, I think Ohio State would get their revenge. I really do. They're playing a lot better than Oregon. I know they lost to Michigan. They actually got beat down by Michigan, and that surprised the heck out of me. But hey, maybe Michigan is just better than what we thought. And for Oregon, even before they got blasted by Utah, I mean, they were barely surviving teams like Cal, like UCLA, like Washington, and of course they got beat by a bad Stanford. So yeah, I think Oregon beating Ohio State at the beginning of the season actually gave them too much credit. And we didn't see what was happening to them afterwards. They were actually going downhill. And now they have 2 losses, and they could they could beat Utah, but I think Utah's the better team. I'm really hoping this matchup happens. I think Oregon has a chance to upset Utah. I hope they upset Utah. I want to see Oregon versus Ohio State. I want to see this rematch. And hey, I'm not even a fan of Oregon or Ohio State, and I really want to see this matchup. So no, I don't want to see Iowa versus Utah. I don't want to see Iowa versus Oregon. I don't want to see Ohio State versus Utah. I want to see Ohio State versus Oregon in the rematch. Both of these teams can't make the playoffs, so the next best thing is for them to fight it out again in the rematch. And, you know, either Oregon can prove once and for all they were the better team in 2021 by beating Ohio State twice in the same year, or Ohio State can prove, yes, that was a fluke, and we're going to beat you down this time. The interesting thing about this situation is it kind of puts Ohio State fans in sort of a dilemma. Because now, I mean, do you pull for Michigan to beat Iowa? Because that has, for Ohio State to make the Rose Bowl, Michigan has to beat Iowa. Because if Iowa beats Michigan, Iowa's going to the Rose Bowl. So that's a conflict you're gonna have to settle on your own. Personally, if I was an Ohio State fan, maybe not pull for it, maybe just hope that it happens. It doesn't mean that necessarily you become a Michigan fan or you're pulling for the Wolverines, but you're just hoping that Michigan beats Iowa. And of course, on the other hand, yes, you also hope that Oregon beats Utah. Even though Oregon beat you, you want to get that revenge. So yes, if I was an Ohio State fan, I would hope that Michigan beats Iowa. And I would also hope that Oregon beats Utah. That way you can get that revenge matchup against Oregon. So that's a little bit of a dilemma that Ohio State fans have within themselves. But honestly, if you want that rematch, then yes, you have to hope that Michigan beats Iowa, and you have to hope that Oregon beats Utah. It is what it is. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on my next show.